Hello and welcome back to another video. Last week, we talked a lot about list growth and why email marketing is important and how to grow your email list. I'll make sure that video is linked in the description if you missed it. But this week, I want to dive into the next topic when you're setting up email marketing, which is welcoming people onto your list when they subscribe. There are a few different ways to do this, but the first most important thing to cover is that this step is going to be automated. So this is something that you set up in your email service provider so that when someone enters their name and email onto your opt-in form and subscribes to your email list, they are getting a welcome email message from you. Now, last time we talked about the importance of lead magnets and how to use that to grow your email list. So this is the step where you're going to actually welcome people onto your list with your email magnet that you've created. This could be a discount code. This could be some sort of freebie. Maybe it's a guide or a document that they can download, or one of the many other ideas that we've already covered. So we're going to welcome them on and deliver them that freebie. But we also want to take it a step further, because when someone subscribes to your email list, they are that much closer to becoming a customer. They've opted into saying, I want to hear about your upcoming releases, your product sales, and learn more about you and your brand. And so we don't want them to subscribe and then not hear from us. So what we're going to create today is a welcome sequence. This is a series of emails that are automated. When someone joins your email list, they are sent a few emails spread out over a few days or a week or so, welcoming them onto your email list, letting them know about you, who you are, what you offer, and helping them build that know, like, trust factor that's so important in marketing. When I set one of these up for my own brand, I noticed a huge difference in not only the customers who were getting to know me and like me and trust me and my brand, but also the number of replies I was getting to my emails. People were joining and then reading through the email and then responding to me and getting to know me better. And they were sharing more about them, which really helps with market research and just getting to know your customers in general. So there's a lot of benefits to having a welcome sequence. And I want to talk you through a few different emails that you should have in your own welcome sequence. But first, now that you know the importance of them, how do you set it up so that it's automated? To do this, you need an ESP or email service provider that has automations, which is where the sponsor of today's video, OmniSend, comes in. Here are a couple stats from OmniSend that actually really surprised me. 1 in 3 people that click on an automated email go on to buy. And automations account for just 2% of email volume, but drive 37% of all email sales. So setting up automations is not a step you want to skip. And it doesn't have to be complicated either. OmniSend is a powerful and intuitive email marketing tool trusted by newbies and professionals alike, and loved by over 150,000 businesses. With 24/7 support and migration help and award-winning customer support, they can help you get set up seamlessly. Once you've collected your email addresses using one of their beautiful landing pages or forms, they have plenty of pre-built automations to choose from to save you time creating from scratch, and so you can set up your automation once and let it do the work of welcoming in your subscribers. This is where you'll give them your freebie or your discount and let them know more about you and your brand and what you offer. Users make an average $68 return on investment for every $1 spent with OmniSend. So not only are you using an email marketing strategy that is proven to pay off, but OmniSend is actually up to 60% cheaper versus other email service providers. They've been kind enough to offer my viewers 30% off for the first 3 months with code SHELBY30. Click the link in the description box below or scan the QR code to get started. And thanks again to OmniSend for sponsoring today's video. All right, so let's dive into what those first 3 emails are going to look like in your welcome sequence. So someone types their name, their email, hits subscribe, and on your end, your automation should be set up so that whenever they hit subscribe, they immediately get their freebie in their inbox. This should be a warm welcome message from your brand, clearly stating your name or your brand name, and a compelling subject line to get them to open it, but also not so creative that they don't recognize what it is. If you have a name of a freebie, so for example, I have a list growth starter kit, I would say your list growth starter kit has arrived, or your email growth has arrived, something like that that is very similar to what they just signed up for so that they recognize it in their inbox. When they open that email, we should have a brand logo or name at the top, again, so that they recognize who it's coming from and start to build that trust with our brand, and then welcome them to your newsletter and give them that freebie. This first email is typically going to be on the shorter side because we just want to give them that value that they just signed up for and let them go on their way. So a warm welcome, maybe a short intro to your brand and what you do, and then that link to whatever freebie or download they just got access to. Sign off in an engaging way And in this first email, something that I like to do is ask them to reply because it helps with deliverability. And deliverability with email marketing is just ensuring that our emails actually land in their inbox versus spam or their junk mail or bouncing completely and not landing there. And so what replying does is tell these various email inboxes like Yahoo or Gmail that we are sending emails that people want to receive. They are hitting reply, they are engaging with us in a conversation. So I like to ask my subscribers a question in that first email inbox. This can be as simple as hit reply and say yes so that I know you got this freebie. Something like that I see pretty often, especially in more coaching industries do that. If you're, maybe getting a free course or a free, educational tool, that's pretty common. I like to ask a question related to my niche. So in my welcome email, I share what I love so much about poetry. I'm a poetry author. And then I ask them to respond and share what they love about poetry too. And I get a good amount of responses to this, and it helps me engage with my audience and hear why they love poetry and have a little back and forth with my readers, which is really meaningful to me. So I recommend adding a question somewhere in that first email and keeping it pretty short and sweet. All right, so then we want to set up our second automated email. This can differ depending on how often you send out your email newsletter, but I like to do this the next day. Or maybe 2 days later, they get another email from me. This email is going to be more about me and the brand and a little bit of storytelling. I also like to include some social proof in this email so that people who, again, might not really know me that well, they may have just heard of me the day before and signed up for my email list because they liked the idea of my freebie. So we don't really have their trust quite yet. And so I like to include some social proof about, how many 5-star reviews that I have, or here are some great reviews, or photos of readers enjoying my books as that social proof element. And I say hello again, it's warm and welcoming. I welcome them to my newsletter, and then I set expectations. And this is really important to let your audience know how often to expect to receive emails from you if you are a more of a personal brand, especially. So I introduce myself, tell a little bit about my story, and then I also like to relink to the freebie. Because let's say they were really busy when they signed up the day before and they've moved on in their inbox and that freebie is now buried down below and they never saw it. Well, whenever I send the second email, I'm including that link again and saying, hey, you got here because you signed up for this blah, blah, blah yesterday. Here's the link for that again so you can access it and get started with blank. This is a nice way to remind people how they got on your list because some people are signing up for multiple email lists a day, right? There's been days where I've seen a few different things that I've wanted to sign up for. And then the next day I'm like, wait, who is this person again? Or what was this brand? What do they do? So setting that expectation and reminding them how they got there is very helpful so that you're not, as the consumer, immediately like, how did I get on this email list? Did they just add me without my permission? All of that. So that really helps too. And then again, like I said expectations for, I send 1 to 2 emails, how often, this is what's going to be included in those emails so you know what to expect. And I really lean into that exclusivity piece of you are the first to hear about this and you're going to get launches first and you're going to get access to sales first and make it exclusive so that people don't want to leave and they want to stay a part of this, exclusive circle as well. All right. And then our third email in our automated sequence is going to be something compelling about what you sell. This is where we want to make the sale and get customers on board with knowing that we're going to be selling in our email newsletters. If we don't set the expectation early that these newsletters are going to be filled with, yes, with value, but also with information about our products, and we're going to be selling to you, they might be confused when you don't sell for 3 months, and then all of a sudden you're selling a lot because you have a launch or something like that. So our emails are okay to sell in. We should be selling in them. People are signing up and opting in to want to hear from you about your products. So this third email is a really great place to introduce those products. Maybe a couple of your best sellers, include a product image, a description, someone enjoying it, some reviews, and links to purchase. You can introduce how you got started with the brand and why you create what you create. This really helps to build trust when people can see the brand's passion behind the products. So include like a little story or anecdote from creating these products and then links to purchase. Thank them for being on your email list and remind them that at this point, they're going to be receiving your regular newsletter filled with what it's filled with. And that's a great place to end your welcome sequence. You can always continue it from here and add on more emails depending on your industry or your audience. There might be a lot more for you to say, or for some of us, that's going to be the end of it, and you can then continue them into just your regular email cycle when you send out your newsletter. So that is setting up a simple email sequence. There are so many more things you can do with automations, like collecting birthdays. This is really great for product businesses or e-commerce businesses, where you can then set up an automation where on their birthday they receive a special discount code or a free gift with their purchase or something like that, which is really fun. There's also something that I've seen pop up more and more lately in the last few years called an evergreen sequence, where you create a long chain of automated emails so that you only have to set it up once and then new subscribers are covered. I've seen people in the online business world do this for up to a year or longer, where they just have a lot of content that they've created in the past, maybe blog posts that they've repurposed, valuable content that they're sending out to their email list. And maybe it's once a week or so, and it's automated so that when people subscribe to their email list, they don't have to worry about emailing them for a year because they're taken care of. And of course, in between that, they might have launches or sales that they'll send extra emails, but they've essentially created a year-long automation of one email a week. And that's a really great way to continue to nurture your audience, really truly selling in your sleep, because those emails are going out without you having to click a button. Of course, that's a more advanced strategy, but I just wanted to show you the possibilities of automation and how it can be really helpful in setting up your email list as well. So your action steps for this video are to set up your own email sequence. If you didn't listen to last week's episode, I will link it for you here, and you can come up with a strong lead magnet idea, create your opt-in form, and then create your welcome sequence too, with 1 to 3 emails welcoming people onto your list, giving them that freebie, and helping them understand you and your brand. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.